Are we going? Whenever. Yeah, he'll start just whenever. It's like.
And not
maybe.
saying that I'm
if
not
the,
imagining.
If the programs keep working, that is.
Well, you know, technology
is the little EQ
friend,
thing still
awesome
bouncing
enemy.
up and down? We look good. Yeah. Got a whole shitload of tracks recording right now. Yeah, well, they're all quiet. Yeah.
Oh, you can record the Peter Gallery.
I give them mics, dude, so they can chime in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they don't get a camera because we're having we have some bandwidth issues.
That's all good.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Well, we're trying to get some sponsorship, you know? I mean, I don't want to advertisers or any bullshit like that, but if you
Real sponsors.
People just throw down, help me out because we don't even have our own power here. We have to
Run it
like the way this was built, it's run off the office over there,
shit.
so we're working on getting our own power.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'd
Hey
be
man,
cool to
you've done a
insulate
lot
it,
for not having power in this building.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You told me you don't have power in this building.
Yeah, right,
Y'all
right.
made something happen with no power.
I've been in some saunas.
Well, this is
for
20.
studios.
This is 20 amps. Yeah,
Okay.
this is 20 amp. We get 20 amp max. That's all we get.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it's not too bad. Now I know the limitations.
Yeah, right.
Giving me ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do a lot with 20 amps, dude. But we, our lights have to be LED because of we get lots of lumens for
like
low watts.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, Apollo 13. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm all calculating stuff, dude. Just to, Yeah. I know I got with the 20 amp circuit, I got a maximum of 2,400 watts.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and then you really only want to go about 80%.
Sure, you don't want to push it
So
as
you're
full as-
probably like around 2,000 watts is about where I should stop.
Okay.
So we got a little bit of headroom, so
Good,
we're
man.
good.
Oh
yeah.
man, this is a pretty cool spot.
Yeah.
But it's
nice.
about to get really hot.
Yeah,
really hot.
right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, those early morning sessions, those late night sessions. Can you stay out here late?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we don't have any. I just gotta.
At 2:30 in the morning session.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
all these offices in the apartments.
They open in the morning. You just got to be done by that.
Yeah. I have management. I'm
Yes.
management. I don't want to say it out loud. But
Yeah, right.
yeah, I am. I have a real job and I have a life and kids and all kinds of shit.
Hey, we all fight that.
Fight
Yeah.
it. We
That's
got
all
to
right.
ride it.
That's-
We got to ride it.
That's
I
why.
do my best to ride that wave,
Yeah,
but I don't know how.
That's why we do what we do, so we can have that
Right?
life. You know
That's
what I'm
really
saying?
what it is. I do that so I have for my real job.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't read,
I have that pay for my real job. That's
right.
that's the way I look at it.
That's why Squat, Eru, and I made that song called "On the Job."
Right.
We're always on the job, even if you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have a job. Are you on your job though? You don't have a job. I know that's
Yeah,
not what
man.
I'm saying. Do you do work?
Oh, yeah.
Are you on your job though, like in your life?
But what was the
Not-
thing that I heard not too long ago was like, just because you're busy all the time doesn't mean you're actually doing work, and that's the
Yeah.
That's kind of how I
What's
look
your
at it.
intention behind it? What's your
Right.
striving
Well, there
Yeah,
has
yeah.
to, to
Yeah.
have real intention.
to really
Yeah.
make moves? Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes you just got to keep moving, though. You know
Right.
what I mean? Or you'll
Yeah.
fall in that
Yeah.
lull.
Krishnamurti
Yeah.
talked about.
I'm like that. If
Yeah.
I have too much off time or I don't,
If you can't create gold, create a little shit.
right?
Murday also said about sitting down
I'm
and
gonna use that.
if you're not sure what you want to do sometimes, to do nothing though sometimes too, to sit down and just sit and go. There's a
You're
lot
right
of things
about that.
creative. There's a lot of things that have been created.
Oh, yeah.
You can appreciate so much that's been created. Sometimes if you're a little confused and you just don't know, so many people create out of confusion because they don't know what to do, so they just start doing things. He's like, chill out. He goes, there's only two ways to do things: through confusion or love.
Right.
If you got passion for it and drive, that's going to drive you in a good direction. Well, go. You got it then.
Right.
But if you don't know and you're just trying to do something, because I just got to do something, you could knock over a building accidentally because you didn't realize what you were doing, because you didn't think it through or say, right?
And
That
people
brings in the Karl Marx, every idea holds the seeds to its own destruction. The idea, if you don't think 20,000 years in the future, then your idea is going to blow up somewhere
I
down the
just
line.
watched a Karl Marx documentary this afternoon.
What's that? on?
Huh?
Is it like on Netflix?
It was
Like
well, no, it's
Amazon or
YouTube.
something like that? YouTube?
I'm
Okay.
a YouTuber, dude. I
Okay.
just watch everything on YouTube, and then it comes up on the suggestions.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
then you
and
start
then if
following
it's
the
like
rest.
What is
semi
it? Karl Marx?
Karl Marx,
Karl
yeah,
Marx.
it was like socialism and
Supposedly,
Right.
it's thought today maybe he didn't actually write the Communist Manifesto. They just put his name on it. It's been said at times.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But he
This
is
was-
attributed to writing the Communist Manifesto. But in there, that one line.
Oh, the Communist Manifesto.
Yes, but that line though, every idea holds the seeds to its own destruction, is genius shit. That is
Right.
saying if you don't pre-plan, you want to start a business and you think it's going to last 70 years. Well, what about 150 years for your generations, right? So if you don't think it through, Then about 100 years in, a problem might come up because you didn't think about making $20 million. So you
Right.
didn't actually pay taxes, right? And all of a sudden, it eats your whole business and you died because your idea was not thought through further enough.
You get the blockbuster
now,
effect.
to think 2,000 years in advance, you probably got to be pretty smart. You know what I mean?
Well,
But-
there was a lot of people in this documentary that were saying like the Karl Marx that they say he is didn't actually exist.
That's-
You know, he was like really more about like personal freedoms and you know and what it takes
Sure.
for each
So the whole communist thing was a
individual.
little more
It's like the
kinda
government
Oh, yeah,
grabs
they
his book and goes.
exaggerated.
Yeah,
The government grabs his
Just
book and goes, "Hey, look at what he said. We should." It's the same thing that the Nazis did with Nietzsche. You know what I
Right.
mean? With Friedrich Nietzsche, they went and took his stuff, the Uberman and all that stuff.
Scientology, bro. David Miscavige, dude, what he did, the L. Ron Hubbard shit, dude.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what's funny is
I'm probably
I went
gonna get
into,
hunted down now.
I went into out of curiosity. I went into one of those churches.
Yeah.
Man.
Dude,
I tried to
weird shit.
challenge a lady, one of their ladies, for a philosophy, and she just looked at me. Well, come in and take the test, and I go, no, and she goes, she just quit talking to me, and I was like, no, she was like, ignored me, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. You won't even get into debate
Right?
about it.
No, I went in there.
I respected it. I wanted her because I was baiting her, and she didn't take it, and I just walked away.
You know what's funny is they saw him. They're like, "So what are you into?" And I was like, "Well, I mean," and I walked in there like fully on, like, you know, wearing a hat, fucking Air Force Ones, and the hip hop kid kind of shit. And it's like,
What you want?
they're like, "Oh, well, what are you into?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm into like rap music." It's funny you should say that. We have somebody in Scientology. I was like, "What? You guys like?"
Oh yeah.
They busted out a video, took me a little theater, and I
I
was
know
like,
Drake.
"I was like, God damn!"
Oh, dude, there
okay.
are a ton of actors and musicians
Oh, yeah.
that are into Scientology, dude.
Tax
It's
write-off.
like- Oh yeah.
Tax write-off.
I'm like,
Is that what
It's
it
their
is?
religion. They can put their
I
money
don't-
into their church for donations.
yeah,
That's
but the
smart.
whole structure,
I mean, I
you
guess
know,
that's
like
smart.
you got to pay to get
I'm not really
to ascend each level. You know what I mean? And yeah, I
The
don't know.
best thing about this game of thinking that we're talking about,
Yeah.
alternative realities and possibilities that could be true, is there are so many that we don't even know exist that are still being found and coming out. You know, I personally lately have been turned on to a yoga series of books from a gentleman who has the Hermeticus bookshop in
Right.
Talent, Oregon. It's like the never-ending story bookstore. I walk in, he's got jazz music playing, no words.
like
It's just,
that.
and I'm like, it's just he's got Rudolf Steiner in German. He's got versions of books from the 1900s early. The first book I bought was 1929. I'm reading a channeled book by a Russian author.
Wow.
So, and I'm reading this stuff going, what do I believe more? That this person actually channeled this or that this person could make this up?
Right.
And I'm like, by the end of the book, I'm like, I actually believe the channel more than a human being could make this kind of wisdom up and be consistent personally
Right.
by reading the book. But all I'm saying is, it's still in this time I'm finding new ways to look at what we've been looking at. New
Right.
philosophers.
Have you heard of Cal Gibran?
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the prophet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You read
Patricia
that?
Mueller. Yeah,
Yeah,
Patricia Mueller, PD.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was a fan of Khalil Bay back in the day, the Gavin
Right.
of Goodness days, and she would always give me quotes of him, and then she gave me the book, The Prophet.
Right, right.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's a good read, dude.
Yeah.
Have you read that?
No, you
Yeah.
guys are
It's
schooling me right now.
basically
I was
it's
like,
basically
I'm-
this dude's going back home. Like
I mean, I'm
been-
interested in all that
He's
stuff.
been away for a while, and he's going back home, and he's like reflecting on his life and shit. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And he comes across this guy, and he's about to burn this scroll. And so the guy reads the scroll, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's the most amazing thing that I've ever read. You know, like everyone in the world should read this, and it would change the whole world. You know." And then the guy he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to burn it." He's like, "No, you can't do that." And he's like, "But think about all the wars that it'll start. You know, change. There comes a lot of resistance to change.
I
and
mean,
you
you know-
might think it's the greatest thing ever, but there's like a whole bunch of other people that think it's trash.
Yeah.
You know? And so,
I imagine
yeah.
it would be a very polarizing situation.
That's
Right.
creating, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so it was just about thinking that your way is the best way. You know what I mean?
You know,
It's-
we're kind of living that. We've been living in that for. Here's what had it right was for me was, which is funny enough. It was a Kevin Smith movie, which was Dogma.
Dogma. Right?
You know, it's better to, and it's funny because
Right.
it's the most raunchy dick and fart jokes kind of
Oh,
like
man.
type of shit.
That
but
movie's ridiculous.
no, I'm
amazing.
into
But you know what?
That's totally
He whips in so much like stuff where you're like, man, dude, you're like on some shit.
Yeah,
You know?
Dogma was his.
Oh, did we watch that? We
Alanis
watched-
Morissette
I'm
is
sure we
God.
watched it.
I'm sure we did.
I mean, but it's what he says. He goes, sometimes it's better to have an idea than a belief. Because once you believe something, that's it. And then trying
Right.
to change that is like wars get carried over that. you can change an idea, you can't change a belief.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Carolyn Casey, I met her at a a Symbiosis gathering in like 2015. She's on the East Coast. She's probably about 75 when I met her. OG. She says she does basically like a Democracy Now, but on mushrooms, she calls it. And she has a radio show, and she's super into astrology. And her friends go, so you believe in astrology and all that shit? And she goes, no, of course not. But I entertain all possibilities. And that line, though, but no, of course not. When she definitely always gives readings from astrology. Right. That's what she does. But it was a friend of hers that told, that was her quote of a friend of hers where he said, well, of course not, but I entertain all possibilities, and that's wisdom. Right. Go ahead, throw your toss. And that's what I was just saying to Gage. I was telling him, throw it on the table. What you got? What's your theory? Oh, right. I never thought about that. I never saw that connection. I like that. I might take that little bit, and I'll put it in my game. And if it stays in my game, it works. But if not, I've been collecting, you've been collecting, you're collecting, we're working.
But see, people want to discredit astrology, right? And maybe in the way that they are like presenting it, or you know, like certain people have these traits or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that the prevailing force in the universe is gravity. You know what I mean?
Inertia
and so when the Earth is at a certain point in our galaxy, it's subjected to different gravitational forces at any given day of the year.
But 100%.
You know, and
preference and perception.
Yeah, well, there's no saying that, like, how that affects, you know, the outcome. You know, because it is a factor.
It is a factor.
It's
that's something to be taken in, and that's all we're saying is I entertain all possibilities, and I love that openness. Vulnerableness, right? That's what they say, to be open. Well, just show me something then. If it's a situation you want to be, basically, you know, you're allowing someone else to feed you this information. You don't have to hear. You could just go home and like live your life happily. But if you want to, and you're in a situation like we are doing in a situation.
So flat or round?
Ooh, I'm half and half. I'm half and half
because
you're
half and half?
I don't know, and I don't need to know.
It's flat until you get high enough.
Like
you can take that however you want.
I'll say around.
I'm definitely a round earther.
And I'm, you know what? I don't need to know.
I don't like flat butts, so you know, round butts.
Hey, that would be my choice too, but you know.
I'll simplify it.
Where I'm at with reality is everything's possible for sure, because we're in the middle of space, supposedly floating on a rock, and that's not weird enough. Okay, first of all,
floating, hurtling uncontrollably.
See, but
that's what we're really doing, dude.
Simplifying that idea, this is what's crazy. It's like, if you simplify it in that manner and say it in that fashion, you're like, man, that is crazy. Like, we're on a fucking rock floating through fucking air.
Hold on, let me correct you again. Hurtling uncontrollably, not floating. We're hurtling. We're
that's the better
jamming, dude.
But what's crazy about that is we'll say that and we're like, that's totally logical to us, right? But we'll make fun of somebody who believes in angels.
That's what I'm trying to say.
The weird thing.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is it that weird that there could be more dimensions? Is it that weird that there could be outside forces that influence us throughout reality? Is it really? We don't know shit about our reality. We're doing this right now to do something that we're feeling good about in movement for our reality, because we're still experiencing what it is to do this. It is so important to just be open, and that's all I found as a young kid in Merced, California. This city right here allowed me to ask questions, because it allowed me to be. I always thought it allowed me to be younger longer, because you could just chill in Merced, and I wasn't being forced to go to. My parents did not force me to go to college.
Likewise,
they did not push me on things. So I felt I was able to dream longer. When I went to recording school in Arizona, when I met people, what I felt I got, they were competitive. You got headshots. Are you professional? Boom. And I was kind of like, wait a minute. What about the magic? What about that message of music? What about that?
Dude, I remember your place back in the day, and your parents really not just supported, sort of encouraged you, dude. That was.
My mom was special.
Mine was a little
awesome,
bit different.
Dude.
So I mean, the funny thing about it is, even though my background's, I come from a very like traditional Latino background where like your parents are very like, you start working at 14 and then you go into workforce and then you retire and you die, and that's what you do. You work, and that's it. And I was sort of the black sheep. I was having a discussion earlier. I was like, you know, that don't work for me. Like I barely skated through high school because it wasn't because I couldn't do it. I just didn't want to do it. It just my brain was on music, creativity, art, and all that stuff. But the funny thing about it is, my parents kind of always just gave me some leeway for some reason. I think my brothers took the brunt of you got to be this, and I kind of was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Where do you fall in the?
I'm the baby. So
you're the baby.
So I get
they
the
were
little
just
baby.
like, fuck it,
whatever. By that point, they're already like, all right, cool.
We got a couple good ones.
Those twos did it.
Yeah, we got a couple good ones. We'll just let
do
this
whatever
one
he
He's
go.
the X Factor. Maybe he can do the magic. Go get him, Carl.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm the youngest too, dude. So it's kind of
but
same
we went to
thing.
school together, so it
Yeah.
was like I remember going, and it was like,
yeah,
like blew our
we were,
minds.
yeah,
So
we
it
were
was-
2 young hip hoppers, kids from Merced,
Right.
put in a very good situation to be
Really
around
good
really
situation.
professional people
Right.
in what we felt we could do. And it was funny when I came back from school, they would send me these cards about what you were doing now. They're trying to keep up on you so they could tell all their new students, hey, look, and this guy's doing this and she's doing this.
Yeah.
I was like trying to destroy the industry one song at a time. My email
Is that
was,
what you would do?
My email is fuck you at never call me again, you fucking alien reptilian killers, you baby rape. I'd be like, and I would mail it back to them because I would, because
You know what?
I was
Here's a-
so anti-industry at that moment
Right.
because I was trying to get, because it was message for me. It's always been message because I didn't have technique. I didn't have purpose per se. I was trying to find out what could I offer to humanity that could help humanity while I'm alive. That was what I asked at 19 after I did acid. After I tripped out,
Right.
and after I've done acid a few times, but this one time,
Right.
it put me in a different situation. And from that moment on, I knew life was different. I knew that I didn't have to be anything anyone had told me, and hip hop music was already in my life. And then I heard the rappers saying things like Latyrix, Gift of Gab from Black Alicious. Those early albums were talking about conscious shit. That's what I was turned on to immediately after the psychedelic experience.
Right.
So I heard people saying, beyond the average buffoonery, use the all-illuminating eye. You know, these lines like that. And then they would start singing a little bit in the rap. Beyond the automatic. And I was like, whoa, they hit the zone. They hit that magic thing that you could sing now, you
Didn't
know?
you say you had like a long conversation
Gift of Gab?
with one of them on the phone for like?
Well, Gab, I toured with him for a couple days, and so I had him in the car, and
you guys were
just topping it up with Gift of Gab was amazing. I actually had the moment where he's sleeping in the car, and I'm chilling, I'm driving, I'm like, and I don't get the Gift of Gab in the car, and then I started thinking about my life and how much Blazing Arrow changed my life, and Nia, and Swan Lake, and just Melodica, and not that it just kind of changed my life, but I listened to that shit every single day for 5 years in a row, smoked weed every single day, listening to it as if it was the gospel of reality that was going to save me from why reality. And then I'm like, and that's him. And I was playing it close, though.
Right.
I was acting like it was just, he skipped a gap. Yeah. No, bro, that is the dude. That's the dude that changed the reality, that taught you. And AC Alone. We just did a show with AC Alone last night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My favorite rapper
Right.
in the world. He would
Really?
be my number one. That's my number one. That's the guy who taught me that life is genius. Because he's a genius. I got his
he
genius.
was good, dude. He was really
He
good.
got every round.
Kept throwing you for a loop, huh?
You know,
He was amazing.
I redeemed myself today. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think that's why I went extra hard. Well, no, I didn't know his cues,
No,
and he was like,
AC,
Yeah, hey,
I've
that's-
seen.
You know,
how
that's
often
cool.
am I going to be able to say this dude is a legend that I listened to in high school was next to me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
you're DJing.
I'll take a like.
It was
you get
good, dude. It
you
was
get a foul
great.
for not being
Yeah,
on point.
it was a great.
You know what he asked me
Yeah.
in the background? We went back to when I was going to pay him in the back, and he was telling. He asked me. He looked at me. He goes, "So, how long I been fucking with you? How long we been working together?" And I was like 2007 or 8. We brought you here to Merced for the first time, and I told him the story how, I brought AC Lone, my favorite rapper, through a friend of ours, Solista, who got the connection to bring him in, and I had never met him, and he wasn't in the room yet, and we had just went on Atlantis Rise, and we rocked, and now the crowd's waiting for AC Lone, and it's one of those like, he's not on stage yet, he's not around, I can't see him, I don't see him, and I start going, whose mic is this? And they're like, AC Alone. And I'm leaning. As I say that, I lean over to Solisa. Where the fuck is AC Alone? And then I go back, change face. Whose mic is this? Get him on the fucking stage right now.
You're having a panic attack.
Because I'm promoter.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing both roles. You know what I mean? I
Right.
just rap, but I'm also the person who makes the show go. And I'm cool with whatever's going on. But is he in the room? Is he back there? No one's told me. I don't know. I've never seen him. I don't know if he's here
Right,
yet.
right.
And I'm like, whose golden mic is this? Because there's a song called Golden Mic.
Right.
And I went like this, and I go, get that mother, boom, out of my hand. And I turn. It's like slow motion turning. AC Alone swooping by me. Beats drop. Hands are just raised. I just took one step into the crowd, put my hand up, and was just like this, right?
Yeah.
In cue, as if it was just a, bloop, okay. AC
Right,
Alone's in the house, and he's rapping. And then someone handed him a blunt.
Nice.
Okay, and RC, and we're all chilling there, and he's smoking, and RC runs to the back. We're all two AC Alone smoking weed on stage, and we all look at each other, and RC goes, "It's fucking AC Alone.
Right.
If anybody smokes a cigarette, kick him the fuck out." And it was like, he left, this guy had a pipe, I just grabbed it, hit the weed, RC looked at me, "What the fuck?" I said, "You said we could smoke." And then I'm like,
He's like, "You're not AC Alone."
I know, but he said we could do it. So I ran back to the sound. I was running sound for it at the time, but you know, smoking, that was we got smoked all throughout the whole part of that night. It was amazing.
Nice.
I remember that
done.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, you
That's
didn't
when
even
I
say
booked
the
you for the
place. Now you
warehouse.
outed
Oh,
him,
shit.
man. Oh, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Wasn't that when I booked you for the warehouse?
We're not
Hey.
supposed to advertise.
The one in Denver, right? It was
There
in
you
Denver.
go.
You've been there too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Dude, I
Okay.
love that place.
All right.
Hey, I lived there for 10 years.
That's right.
I
Really?
frequented it. Yeah, I did.
Oh, right.
I mean, after we graduated from school, I came back and I kind of was in this phase where I was like, okay, what do I do with this degree? You know what's funny that you saying that they sent you all these letters about how are you doing? They didn't send me those quite a bit because I lagged on paying. I finally finished paying them like about a year ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
They actually owe me money because
The
I
only
paid
reason
too
I paid him was because my grandma paid him.
I paid too much.
Paid
I
shit.
I didn't. I begrudgingly paid them through my job, them
Sure.
garnishing my shit,
Sure.
but
Sure.
because it was like a federal loan or some shit like that. But anyways,
My grandma both helped us go to
yeah,
that
she did.
school.
God bless her, you know,
Right.
and
You know what I
rest
mean?
her
My
soul.
grandma-
Yeah, you gotta get
and,
up in
you know,
that
she
mic,
was a
homie.
blessing
Oh.
to us.
Yeah, my
Or
bad.
just pull it toward
I'm
you.
just chilling. I'm
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
back.
chill.
I'm feeling
Yeah,
chill.
lean
It's all
it
good.
back.
It's all good.
Lean it
I know.
back.
I'm gonna check on my
No,
form.
and
I got
God
you.
bless her soul because she
Re-
blessed both of us.
Both of us. Woo. A lot.
You know-
My grandma blessed a lot of people in this town.
What was
She
awesome
loved
about
Merced.
that happening, that situation was funny. We were talking about it earlier about my parents being very strict, but also kind of giving me some leeway. After high school, I didn't really go into doing anything. I kind of always was obsessive about doing music. I didn't know really why I was doing it, and you know that we'd run into each other at shows and stuff like that. But anyways, I was working swing shifts, and out of nowhere, my dad just pulls me, and I was helping pay bills at the time, and my dad pulls me to the side, and he was like, "What are you doing? Is this what you want to do? You want to work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm paying bills. Shit. Like, what do you mean?
That's what you
I
do,
mean,
right?
Yeah, I like doing. I take that money, buy records, and do my shit. And
That's right.
I pay bills, but then he was like, "No, like, what are you doing? Like, that's what you want to do?" And I'm like, "You did it, like, right?" He's like, "You don't have anything else you want to do?" And then I forgot who I asked. It might have been RC or somebody that told me.
Because RC was supposed to go with me, but
And he was like,
didn't go.
"Call James." He's like, he went to school for auto engineering. I'm like, "What?"
I was gonna go.
Right? And then Bobby and them would always be like, "Oh, you're like our engineer," because I was so obsessive about learning whatever I had gear. Like, I'd just sit there like a whole day and figure it out. And I was like, maybe I might do that. And I remember going out, and then your grandma was like, "You know what? Don't worry about it. Your guys' rent, it's
My grandma took care of us.
Wow.
it's taken
That's-
care of."
She didn't even know
Nice.
Carlos.
No, she didn't.
She asked him,
I remember
hey,
I would go after we graduated and all that. I would just go,
Yep.
hey, just say hello because
Oh, yeah. hell yeah.
I
That-
told
that
her
lady
my
was an
roommate
angel.
couldn't make it
yeah.
because he couldn't get the money to live here. He got the money to go to the school,
Yeah.
but he
Right.
couldn't get the money for the rent to live, or he'd have to have a
initially
full-time
because
job.
I just went out there on like
That's
I
right.
packed my bags and
That's
I'm like,
right.
I hope I get a. The funny is I got a job a little bit after I got there. I got
Borders.
a job like at.
Then we worked
no,
at-
before that I had another job, but then I got the Borders job in the music
That's
department.
Right. That's right. You did work
I had
somewhere
a
else
restaurant.
first. That's
It was
right.
like some restaurant in the
That's right.
same
We lived
plaza
together
with
in an
Borders.
apartment with no furniture, like one chair,
Damn.
our turntables, an MPC that you helped me buy the MPC. I had got a
You were gonna
loan.
get the Triton.
I did buy a Triton, but I had like $1,500
I
left.
don't know what the fuck you guys are talking
Okay,
about.
okay, yeah, we're chilling.
No.
We go to school and I get a loan to buy some equipment. I tell my grandma,
I was
here's-
working at Guitar Center at
Well,
that point.
yeah.
Remember?
That's right.
okay.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference.
I went to 3 jobs.
There
Put
were-
it that way.
There were schools. The kids at school. There was 24-hour school.
Right.
So you could go to school all day if you could. But if you had to actually pay rent or if you had bills you had to take care of,
That was
then
on
you had
you.
to work.
Right.
And then you couldn't be on school. But there were some kids who were getting this full experience of all the time doing
They got
their,
a fat loan or
you know what I
something.
mean?
Right,
Or whatever.
right.
Or whoever
Or
paid
mom
for it.
was paying it.
Whatever. It didn't matter. But it just showed you there were different ways you experienced the school.
Right. Right.
So I told my grandma, I said, look, I can't be on the campus all the time because I have to work. So look, I need equipment at home to be able to do what I'm doing at school when I come
remember that.
home.
We're
Right.
we're pulling 40-hour
Work weeks. to
work
pay-
weeks and then going to school full time.
Wow.
It was rough.
We
would-
missed exactly as many days as you could miss without getting kicked out of the school.
Right.
Yeah.
There were days,
I
no, I'm not
remember.
going to school today. Fuck it. You either.
You
yeah,
couldn't.
fuck it. Fuck, even the
Oh,
great
I
music school.
remember we would do that. We
Great
would be
music
like,
school,
"Ah."
but fuck it. I don't want to go to school today. I want to fucking stay home, make a beat, fucking
Oh,
scratch.
I always did that, dude. I took as many days as I could miss without affecting my grade. You fucking ain't right. I would pick the right day, dude.
We
and
did
just
it
be
more
like,
so on the first part of our schooling because it was more the introduction to.
Yeah, absolutely.
What it was
yeah,
we were
you get too
doing.
deep and you're.
We were getting
like,
burnt. You know what I mean? It was
But there's review days and stuff, you know, that you can.
There
skip,
was
you know,
no, we
different
did.
stuff.
This guy was like very like Rain Man-ish. He would like we'd go through the lecture and I'm like, nah, I didn't get that. And then he'd go, I aced it, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, how'd you ace it?
I don't
He's like,
remember.
And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just made sense, and it's like, what?
You know,
It took me like halfway through schooling to do that, but anyways,
that school was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because I was living in my grandma's backyard, and she saw a documentary about kids skateboarding, smoking weed, and listening to rap music, and they're gangsters.
Right.
And she saw me skateboarding and listening to rap music, and she didn't know if I smoked weed. She asked me if I was on drugs. She brought me in her house. My grandma was very firm Catholic,
Nope.
back straight, boom, but beautiful, but strong. Always could get shit done. You know, ran a
Right.
business, did her thing. She had that vibe. Well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to play music. And she goes, well, you're not good enough to play, but maybe you can record people.
Wow.
That was what was said.
Is
to
that
me.
what that
That's
was?
it.
Is that where that
Brutal.
But that's why I love hip hop. That's why I'm martial arts. That's why I like Thank You,
Right.
Sir, May I Have Another. That's the kind of shit that I like. That tough love. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, hit me again. Let's
Right.
go. I want to, that's how I like to learn. I want to be a Jedi. All my life, I want to be a ninja, right? I want to I want to be training up a hill for 20 years to learn how to, stand on one toe. That's my spirit.
Right.
So my grandma saying that to me was, "Fuck you, bitch. I'm fucking dope."
You know
but
what?
you don't know me.
Right.
Yes, I would love to record people.
Yeah, that'd be
That
awesome.
was what I said twice. It was in my head. It was like this. I hate that you just said that. I'm defending myself with this "fuck you," but I love you. It was my grandma. But
Right.
I somehow was like, "No, you don't know me."
Do you remember trying
What?
to record drums in your fucking shed or something
In my
to
back-
that
that's where I
shitty out of time track?
That's where I lived.
Yeah.
That's where I lived. That's when she took
this
me out of
before-
there.
this
This is the little back room in my grandma's backyard.
This before we went to school.
Yeah, this is why I went to school, bro. Trying
Yeah.
to do shit. 'Cause I had a
You're
little
like, this isn't
Fostex.
working.
I took a loan out and got a little Fostex tape recorder when you still record on tape.
I had the Fostex digital.
Right.
And so doing stuff back there, and my grandma said, well, you want to go to recording school? And then my uncle, who was her brother, was the head of like Minnesota school system. He was like a big time school guy, and he has a house in Tempe, Arizona. And we looked up the recording schools, and then there was the LA school, there was the Boston school, there was the Tempe school. The Boston school seemed very small and was a little more expensive, real short. It was like 2 months. I think
okay.
Adam Beverly might have went there. My friend, if you know Adam
Right,
Beverly,
yeah.
I think he went there. And then the LA was cool. You just check $5,000 and you go and you get to go. But and then Arizona was write an essay. I flew down, interviewed.
Right.
I paid $12,000, but
You flew down and interviewed?
Yeah, I did because I went down and gave him my thing in person
Oh, right.
because he had a house in Tempe. So my grandma flew me to stay with my great uncle, I guess, and my great aunt,
Right.
and he took me in there. So he walked the school with me and
right.
checked it for its credibility,
Right.
being a scholastic person.
Right,
And he
right.
wrote back to my grandma. He said, "Yeah, that shit's legit."
It was
He-
legit.
and it was
Dude,
legit.
it was.
It's legit as it gets.
Here's the funny thing is about it. There's a couple other people from Merced that have gone to that school, right? But we lucked out in the sense, and not to knock them for their experience, but when we got there, it was a small 24-hour. And I guess it's still 24-hour, but it's not 24-hour like how it was for us, like where it was just like it was like a free for all when we were in there. It was like these studios were open 24 hours, and if you were smart enough to just be like a studio rat,
Yep.
Right.
you get access to
Yep.
these multi-million-dollar studios.
Wow.
And like some of our teachers, like one of our teachers worked on like
The Chronic.
Dr. Dre's
Jerry
Chronic.
Fembras. He was
right?
1 year older than me. He engineered with the Chronic.
Dude,
he
his-
worked with Quincy
Wow.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
1
our
year older than me.
other
The teacher
teacher
was
worked
1
on the
year older than
Metallica
me.
album. Remember Nancy?
Uh-huh.
Metallica album, the Black album.
What about the Outcast? Your friend.
Oh, so check this out. So we went to school with this Asian girl that she was just like there all the time in this.
She's a
in
couple
this-
sessions after us.
Well, she would always be in the MIDI lab.
Yeah, that's
Right?
Yep.
Which is why we started calling her. Her name was Mocha.
Okay. Mini Mocha.
MIDI Mocha.
that's right. That's what you call her.
Right.
Lady Mocha.
MIDI Mocha. So we started calling her MIDI Mocha because she was just always there.
Right.
And we were like, we were studio rats.
Yeah, I actually need to. I haven't really had to learn MIDI yet. I keep coming across it, but I
Dinosaurs
haven't.
going into the new world, bro.
Yeah.
Me, I'm trying to do MIDI. I'm over here like, I should have started
I
doing
just
MIDI a
haven't
long
had to
time
fuck
ago.
with it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if you don't need to use, I mean, it's so different nowadays. But back then it was.
it might
Yeah.
come up.
You
know?
can. It's
And
just
I'll
a lot.
learn it when it
It's a
comes
lot
up.
easier to manage than it was back then.
Yeah.
But she
100%
was there
easier.
all the time. She like had that thing.
This is
like
the real
clockwork.
MIDI. This is the cord MIDI hooked up. Make sure your
Yeah.
SMPTE box was working.
Right.
This wasn't USB MIDI yet.
Well, we'd stripe
Not
2-inch
100%
tape.
USB.
Right.
They had high end shit, but we still had to connect the MIDI box. We had to sync time code to make the MIDI work in that time.
Well,
Now you
I'm
have
a professional at making shit work with like
Oh,
toothpicks and duct tape, dude.
that's
Then you
kind of
fit right in.
that's
Right,
kind of
you
what
know
we were
what I mean?
doing.
That's
Remember that
like-
one? We did this. I mean, not to veer off too much from the MIDI mocha,
Right.
but
yeah.
there was a one morning
No,
where
tell about her. Oh, she's
anyways.
engineered on.
so she ended up working on the speaker box album for Outkast and won a
Oh,
Grammy.
right on.
Right?
Wow.
It's the
Wow.
funny thing.
Nice.
Here's the funny thing.
Wow.
My friends opened up for Big Boy in Denver. They're like, come kick it with us in the green room. I ended up having a conversation with Big Boy, and he's like, "Oh, you know MIDI, Mocha, or not MIDI? You know Mocha?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Dude, she married she worked on our speaker box album, but she married our like main engineer."
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, "I'll tell her you said what's up."
Oh, that's dope.
And I was
Right
like,
on.
That's dope.
Right.
because I remember just hanging out with her. Like,
Yeah.
we, remember
kinda
we
cool.
conned her into doing
Big
a song.
boy's
She
like,
didn't want
"Hey, your
to
homie
sing
said
because she
what's
could
up."
sing.
Yeah.
She could sing really good, and we were like, "No, you got to get in the booth."
Yeah.
We turned all the lights off. She's like, "All right," and we got her to sing. And
dope.
but man, that chick was amazing.
Right.
She could make
Hey.
beats.
My grandmother, bless her heart. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to say it was really awesome that she did that, because the fact that we're sitting here and
You know, I
talking about this right now,
Yeah.
Right.
this Merced moment in history of what we just did right there. You know,
I didn't
rockin'.
know that's what you did.
Yeah, the
I didn't
recording
know
school.
that you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that. I mean, that's cool that you had that conversation with your grandma and because I kind of felt the same. Here's the funny thing is that even though my dad asked me what he asked me, and I ended up going, because I remember he footed the first $300. So he was like, "Well, here, if that's what you want to do, here's the first 300. Go through your application process, figure out what you need to do for loans." And that's when I called you.
Yep.
We worked it out, whatever.
Yep.
But he was the same way with me. He was like, "Well, I mean, I guess you want to do this music
Yeah.
because you seem to do it all the time. So like,
Right.
you don't sound like you're good at it.
yeah.
You do a bunch of free shows for your friends.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I guess go to school for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We went to
And I
school
kind of
for
was
it.
like, man, fuck you. Like this is what I want to do. Like,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like, I think I'm good at this.
and well,
But
look at-
even then, I didn't think it was my career though.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all, dude. I went to school for jazz bass, right?
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
like, you guys smelling?
Movie time.
Okay, cool, man.
Peace.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If not, we'll connect while we're still here.
Yeah, what time?
Nice to meet you, man. Nice talking with you earlier too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool, Gage. Nice seeing you, man.
All right, brother. Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like around 3 or 4 on a Sunday.
Holler at me.
Yeah.
I'm still up. I got a gig at night, but a 3 is perfect for me.
Okay. Well,
I could probably make a 3. I could play out there for like an hour. Yep.
should we go 2 then, so we can play 2 hours?
I'm open.
I'm
Or
down.
we could play an hour and then.
Yeah,
talk-
I'm open.
talk
I'm
and
open.
smoke
Let's do
weed
more
for an
around
hour.
2, and we'll.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's go 2.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, let's go 2.
Sounds good.
Make sure you if you guys see anything changes, just text me.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll text you just to confirm anyway.
Sounds good.
Yeah, just text me the address.
You gotta. You never sent me. I don't know if I can do either one.
Right.
I think I sent it.
We're gonna jam tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
This is what
just
this is.
People watching, listening.
Yeah,
we're
this-
just like
Yeah, it
arranging
says
it.
delivered.
Brett Friesen's in the
So,
house, so
yeah.
if, you know.
Yeah, Brett.
Yeah, Brett's in the house. So
Dude, Brett's got a fucking
Houseboy.
killer studio, dude. His studio makes me
Houseboy was
fucking
dope. I
jealous.
remember that's when I met you. You were in Houseboy. If I. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was Joyner, and then was Joyner
Joyner.
next? Well, Driver 11.
Driver 11, dude.
Hmm.
I got that 7-inch on my mantle, dude, with Nooner and Driver 11.
I
dude.
have that too.
310.
I have that
Right,
too
fuck
with
yeah.
Nooner. Because I
6'1".
remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
It's a cool. It's a
3.7?
cool looking,
Yeah.
I agree.
record. So
Yeah,
it's
I
Yeah,
on
I
my
sent it.
mantle, dude.
I'll resend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you. We'll connect with you. He's got your stuff too. We'll connect.
Perfect.
It was basically going into
Dude, that was good
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was.
You
good
might get a
stuff.
phone call after this podcast
Yeah.
Yeah.
from random people.
Yeah. Right on, enjoy the movie.
No, do we share a phone number? Oh,
No,
no.
I just-
No, they can't hear him.
Okay.
No,
No,
yeah.
I just said his number. I said his
Dude,
number.
I always say my Wi-Fi password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, why are people on my Wi-Fi?
Right.
Yeah,
Because of your
thank you.
podcast.
No,
Thank
it's
you, man.
it's
Thank
a
you, Gage.
hotspot, so it only works when I
okay.
turn it on. You know what I mean?
Peace.
Cool, guys. So yeah, where were we? Oh
You
yeah, I
so-
was
you were
about to
playing
tell you
jazz?
that. Like
You
I
guys
was,
did
I
jazz
went to
school.
school for jazz bass, and I don't think my parents really. They didn't support that at all. It was just kind of like, why don't you learn a trade? You know what I mean? And so
I mean, my parents were like, well, it doesn't look like I was working at a spot here in Merced called the Angels, which I'm sure you're familiar
Yeah.
with. You know, they were good to me. I used to work swing shifts, make good money. But I don't know what my parents were like. Maybe we should, because they maybe somewhere in their mind they were like, man, this dude's really obsessed with music. In my mind, I hope that's what it was. Like, man, I was obsessed with music. I remember fucking buying turntables and buying records that I couldn't sample yet, and then going to Bobby's. He finally got an MPC, which my homie Bobby, he's El Son. He's a producer here.
Yeah.
He got the
Legendary.
jump on DJing and production before I ever did. And
Carlos taught me
well,
how to
let
make
me
beats.
clarify that a little bit because I mean, I didn't start playing guitar until I played when I was about 14 or 15,
Yeah.
and then I got my own guitar when I was
okay.
16. And my mom bought me a new, my stepdad bought me this piece of shit from the fucking flea market, dude, that wouldn't stay.
I didn't even have my equipment.
with this fucking amp that was like this big that had a knob. One knob, and I just turned it all the way up, and the speaker would rattle and give me distortion, dude. It was
Yeah.
so awful.
So we're like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's
then
tight.
then my mom got me like a real guitar, and then I just kept playing it. And then, I remember my mom going to the Alano Club to those metal shows and shit. You know what I mean?
I went
and
to
like-
Atlanta Club a couple times.
But they always were like, don't count on this.
Yeah.
They always. I mean,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I
Well,
guess
those are familiar
man.
speeches.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I do remember my mom being all like, standing in the back of the Alano Club just like, because we used to mosh like crazy back then, dude. She was just like, oh.
I was right at the end of that scene. I came in right
Yeah.
at the end. My experience at the Alano Club is as a DJ spinning 80s electronica kind of stuff, and we're dancing with like 8 other people. It was never the mosh. RC went to like the real punk rock
right.
stuff, but
Right.
I went with other friends, and I hadn't met RC yet. So, and then the Alano Club just shut down, and then we were right there, and then it wasn't there. And then when we connected with RC and Rocky, and we made Pimps of the Galaxy, because Craig Crefessi
Right, I
was living
remember
next to
that.
me. He was living next to me, and he would listen to us freestyle in our backyard. We were smoking weed,
Right.
and we were playing on a back of an acoustic bass, playing drums.
I'm trying to concoct in my mind a way to have a reunion show for you guys.
Up with Pimps
Is
of the
Rocky
Galaxy.
still around?
Rocky's in Oregon.
Oh,
He's
is
up right
he?
where I'm at. Yeah,
Right
so
on.
I'm gonna connect with Rocky when I go on tour in October.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Too.
Yeah.
I always liked that guy.
Yeah, hit
I
me
used
up,
to
that's
go over
fine,
there
though.
every day. Yeah. Yeah.
That situation, Craig popped his head over. He had the dreads because he was playing in the reggae band with Gilbert and Joaquin at the
Oh,
time. They were doing that
right.
reggae band.
Whoa, that's right.
Yeah, and they were just telling me about it, and we had met Craig and Tina, and at the time his wife Tina
what
at
did
the
they
time.
used to call him? He used to have a nickname, Biscuit.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, you didn't
No,
know
I
that?
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
hadn't met
next time
Joaquin
you
yet.
see him, call him. Say, what's up, Biscuit?
I hadn't met Joaquin or Gilbert yet. We'd only met Craig because he was left next door. He said he'd
Right.
come home from Red Lobster where he worked as a cook or something, and he would smoke in the back and listen to us freestyle. Well, one night
Right.
he popped his head over. Of course, at that time we're scared of narcs like every day because we're smoking weed, we're in Merced, and we're
In
being
the
rebellious.
90s?
Yeah. This
Right.
is 95, 96, 97, like 95. This is 95. This is before
Right.
Pimps Galaxy, so it's 95.
Am I dating you? Sorry, dude.
No, it's all good, man. I am who I am. I love my dates. I'm
Yeah,
so
fuck
proud
me,
of my
you know.
age and where I'm at, bro.
No, I'll say that was a magical era.
That's what I
for
mean.
all music. That whole '90s.
Bro, my
magical
memory
area.
starts in the 80s, dude.
Likewise,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my influence initially started in the '80s, but my like where I zoned in
Where
and I
it was-
really
I was
understood
involved.
music
Right.
was
Involved.
in the '90s.
Yeah.
So like that whole time
For
period
me.
was a magical
90s?
time.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was in.
But I have fond memories of the '80s. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But-
Well, no, I was kind of like semi-cool in the 90s. That was like my little, Huh? No. Chris is like, nah.
Quick,
No, you weren't.
That was quick.
You know,
Yeah. I know that.
No. Play. I'm trying to get that noise.
we're
that
always,
noise.
I mean, you know,
I deserve that.
we're all the heroes
I'm
of our own
trying to
story.
Martin, you're an OG. That's what I was
I
talking about the
deserve
Emerald.
that.
That's why I talked about the Emerald Thrift Store, though. I
Yeah.
told Carlos when I came into the scene, you were already in the scene.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. That what I thought of the scene, you were already had a Volkswagen bus and a girlfriend and was doing your thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was a skateboard kid going to thrift
Fucked all that
stores.
shit up, by the way.
Yeah,
Blew up
hey.
the engine, lost the girlfall.
Well,
and look how,
You
look how
know.
it turned out.
Yeah,
You're
right,
chilling. I heard
That's
your
a-
kid.
that's part
I've
of-
reproduced, so
Boom.
you know what I mean.
it's part of a good story. You know, what I mean, everybody
Yeah.
has their own story.
yeah.
That's what
You're
I
the hero
mean.
of your own story.
Oh,
Everybody's the hero of
Sarah's
their own
doing
story.
really good too. She's got 2 little boys now, dude. They're fucking cute as shit, and she's still my friend.
Life
That's
goes
good, you
know.
on. That's that real
Right.
shit. That
Yeah.
goes back to the essence of the music of why I started music. Life, it's some real shit. It's talking deep. It's why we like music, because it's a deep message. It's tapping you at a soul level you think is real.
Right.
And you believe it because that bad song hits you in a way that mom and dad, you don't even understand, right?
So you want to hear a concept I was thinking of? Like, what if you only get one day in this life?
Shit.
Tomorrow you're going to shift into another body in another life, and you only have these memories and this idea of this sense of history
For one day?
because you're existing in this body, and you only get it for one day. And tomorrow you'll be someone else, so you only got this one day. And I mean, you wake up every day,
Yeah.
or you think you wake up every day,
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's just this.
We think we do.
all you have
Round or
is
flat.
right now. Really, you only have right now.
I mean, that's really what
You
it
know,
is.
Round or
I
flat,
think-
round or flat. I don't know. I think I woke up today. I could be in a
Right.
pod with some things in my head, and I don't know that. But that movie,
But
that-
I was thinking more like your soul shifts around more than a matrixy like thing. You know, our souls shift around, and we're constantly going through this shared experience of life.
yes,
You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, there's everything. You're a worm one day.
Yes.
You're a bird one day.
Oh,
you're
okay.
James one day. You're, you know,
Yeah.
a blade of grass for a day.
I've kind of come to the concept of reincarnation like that from these books I've been reading. They've kind of been saying we've kind of misconstrued the idea of true reincarnation, which is in the paradox is that our reincarnations is each other right now. Where I'm actually you reincarnated and you're me reincarnated, and it's all
Yeah.
of us at the same time. You've lived
Right.
every life. We have been every life, and that is the truth of the thing. But then we individualize like this and reflect to each
Right.
other. But that's what reincarnation really is. We've been each other. That's why we can't judge each other. That's why we can't.
Right.
We have to learn to go. You're learning what you're supposed to learn, and I'm doing my part of the game too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
And we're figuring it out
I
together.
mean, the key thing is, I guess, my only answer would be to that, if that was ever a question that was posed to me, is you gotta just live in the moment.
Sure.
I mean, tomorrow is a long way off. Yesterday is also very far away.
It's
and
now.
all you have is now.
All we have.
And I
is
mean,
now.
don't get me wrong, and I'm
It's the
a very
infinite.
nostalgic person, but at the end
Yeah.
of the day,
What?
yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm-
wisdom to know to
you know
live
what
in
I
the
mean?
now, though. To
You
live in
have
the
to
now
live
is
in the now.
wisdom. To
So,
know that this
whether
moment,
you have a choice of on
There-
to accept
there's
that,
balance,
you do.
though.
There is.
Because yesterday I lived like there was no tomorrow, and
Right.
today I didn't have any lunch money.
I hear you. No, and
You know
that's
what I
true. And that's true. You're right. You're right about
Balance.
that.
Yeah, you got to live in the moment, but you also got to, you know, semi-prepare
what was the James Dean quote?
for
So,
making it to the next day.
You're right.
You know, you might.
dream
That's,
it.
and you're right about that. You know, what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I try to live my life in that manner. You know, you can
Right.
only prepare so much for tomorrow, but
Yeah, you
remember
could
to
be
live in the
gone.
moment.
Yeah, you could
and
be
then appreciate what's come before you.
gone.
I've done a lot of thinking about the moment and existing. I always used to call us existers. That was what I came to. We're just existing. We don't have to do anything.
Right.
Like, everyone could just sit down and you'd be fine. You're just going to live and die like you would anyways. You might
Right.
pee and shit on yourself, but you would just be chilling. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can do that. That is a true option in reality. And we have to, and once you accept that that's possible too, and it's okay that a human being chooses not to participate, then we can start to tolerate and allow other people to play their roles out and say, well, that's another option. And once people are allowed to be themselves, my mom always thought if people would actually allowed to be themselves, whatever that is, right? They felt
Right.
they could do that. They would not be angry or depressed. They would actually be themselves. They would be excited. And that is us, the other humans, allowing to allow people to understand we all make mistakes and we all do shit where we have to forgive other people for their errors because we have done it too.
Yeah.
And that's a weird, you know. We're
I
walking,
mean, as human beings, and I can never get this word out for some reason, compartmentalize our views, perceptions, and realities, and our morals. You know what I mean? It's why you're able to do such good things, and then sometimes you're able to kind of bend a little bit over here, but you compartmentalize the facets of your life and your experiences, and it allows you to do different things. You know, it keeps things separate. Oh, I'm good over here. I'm a good individual because I did this. But then you go and
I gotta work on this.
Yeah, you did something wrong over here.
oh,
But
this book I just read, it
Yeah,
said
I
like
mean-
this. Oh, so here's a question for future disciples. Are you not a traitor? Are you not a liar?
Right.
Are you not a sluggard?
Right?
Are you not a coward? You know, it was like it was
And
so
that's
ruthless. It was,
wow.
that, it was that
Essentially,
fuck you
that's
not good
what
enough
it
to play.
is, you know?
But I understand. It just made me laugh. I giggled. I was like, shit.
Right?
And it's just
Right.
saying, check yourself before you fucking wreck yourself. Get your shit together.
Right.
Live your life. And in a sense, it's the angle of all the ancient religions. It's like purify now before you leave, or that shit's going to get crazy when you leave. The shit that I heard lately, what I just love the idea of what hell really is, to this idea of when we're on earth, we accumulate these things. These things are like lust and greed and wants and desires, and because of this experience.
Right.
But when you leave, and that spirit and that soul has to return to pure essence. Let's call it pure essence, or if you can call it God, but it's pure essence. It's no
Right.
bullshit allowed.
Right.
You
right.
can't bring the bullshit to the pure essence. So as you
Right.
come out of the body, they've got to come get that out of you. It can feel like fire. It can feel like demons ripping stuff out of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Or it can be angels cleaning you to go home, because you can't bring that shit home. That's a crazy concept that I was given.
But this is why they have that saying, baptized through fire.
Yes. Yes.
You get baptized through fire.
The stuff I'm reading right now is all about the transmutability of fire, and that we're in that epoch of fire. And this is why you see the craziness at the end of the Kali Yuga. And the
You don't
beginning
think
of
it
the
might
Satya Yuga.
just yeah? Well, I guess you just said. I was going to ask. Do you think it might be just like perception? You know what I mean? Just like one man's
our
trash is
perception.
another man's treasure. One man's
Always.
heaven is
It
another
really
man's
is.
hell.
I mean,
you
my
know?
my whole thing with my whole thing with
It
like
is.
beliefs
It always is.
and religion and all that. It's like, I really don't care what you believe in. I mean, and essentially that's how for me that's how it always should be. But it's like, if that makes you a better person and that makes you happier and more comforted for what's unexplainable and what gives you sense of why you're here as human beings, because
For
we
sure.
always have that question.
For sure.
So be it.
That's where I was
Dude,
saying I realized as a
perceive that.
young kid
Right.
that
Yeah.
I felt I lacked. I thought I was negative. I thought I was a liar. I was a murderer in my own way. I stole a lot. You know what I mean? In my life, when I was young, I was greedy.
We're
As a
dumb,
kid.
when we're
That's
young,
what I mean. But I felt that way, and so when I heard there were options out of that you could do things, something in my soul strived to find it. But I realized lately, when I have this, my friend Miles Frody up in Oregon, I'm freestyling. I go, Miles Frody, I'm Garfield, he's Odie. And then I remembered my life growing up as a kid with Garfield posters on my wall.
Right,
He
right.
who dies with the most toys wins. That
Oh,
American
shit.
bullshit attitude.
Right.
I had a Vanilla Ice poster on my wall. My friends always gave me shit for that
Nice.
shit. For that. But the idea was
You should have got some shit for that shit.
yeah.
But
That
and I
hair,
was
bro.
hit.
I did. Now I'll give you props. I'm like, dude, you got balls for that one.
But yeah,
That
He
was
shaved his
ballsy.
eyebrow, bro.
Yeah, that was
I had
ballsy.
the second
Yeah, the
album,
skunk
the
stripe.
Hootie Mac. Roll
I
up the
mean,
Hootie
yeah.
Mac. He started smoking weed and grew dreads,
Right.
and he made a second album about smoking
Roll up
weed.
the Hootie
he
Mac.
did. That was his
Wait, who was
single,
this?
bro.
Who was
I didn't
this?
even know Vanilla Ice.
He grew dreads.
He did,
Yeah.
and he smoked weed.
I do remember
A friend of
the
mine, he
dreads,
became
but
a
I don't
Trustafarian.
Man,
Trust fund
hey,
Afarian.
all I'm saying
Yeah.
is this is before that acid trip I was talking about. Okay, I was in this role of stereotypical
Shit.
white boy playing baseball, listening to whatever's fed to me on TV, girls, blah blah. It's all for me. Give me. Don't human being.
Yeah.
That's what I. And so when I told Miles Ford, I said, I'm Garfield then. And I'm that superficial one, and Miles Frody would be the deep one. You know what I mean?
Right,
The Odie.
right.
And I'm like, so I'm Garfield. Fuck that shit.
But
I'm
you know
Garfield.
what?
But check out how I recognize, and I realize, oh yeah, I've never had the good. I mean, that's why I'm looking for it so strong. That's why my message is the way, because I'm here to search for what it's trying to fix. Because I asked for it as a young kid. How can we fix this bullshit? And so my journey is that from which did not.
Is this
to-
it? Is this it right here?
Yeah,
that's
that's
what-
it.
Is this
Right
it?
here.
I didn't even know this. You're hipping me to some.
You
new
got
stuff.
Wu-Tang
Get
shit?
out of here!
Yeah.
Oh man,
What are you
Nice.
talking about?
Look, he's going
Roll
in.
up the
He's
Hootie
going
Mac.
hard.
Roll it up. Roll it up.
Is that what it
Roll
was?
up the
Roll up-
Hootie
is
Mac.
that what it was called?
Smoke weed. But he was saying smoke weed.
Oh, you know why?
Right.
It's Dr. Dre came out around this time. Right?
Yes,
That's what it
and
was. so.
Outcast ATLians.
So-
The most
Wow,
weed
look at
smoked.
that. He almost looks ethnic too.
Right?
Look, because they got it all like.
Yeah,
is
look
he
at
doing
the
brown?
shadows,
Is
they
it
got
doing
the
brown?
They got the
face, dude?
Wu-Tang effect going on for him. Shit. This shit was hard back then.
He's all represent. He's all roll with that
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
That's awesome.
The
That's
Hootie
so
Mac.
Awesome.
Bro, what is it? The-
Roll it up, the Hootie Mac. But so we were
Bro,
smoking
you
weed.
can't you can't fault the guy for fucking trying.
Dude,
You know
he's
what I mean?
I'll say
game.
this:
He's
he's
still in the
he's
game.
doing all right.
Yeah, he's still
His
in the
royalties
game.
from these
If
songs
you-
is
I
like.
mean, like if you were him,
I don't feel bad
and
at all
you
for this guy. He's
and
doing
you
all
might
right.
have been
Hey.
him in a past life. You might have been
We
Vanilla
are
Ice,
him at
and
this
you-
very
we,
moment. It's
we
why
all
don't.
did the same
That's
thing.
What the hell, we've all done this.
Right,
We've
we've
all
all
done
done
this
that.
in some way.
Right.
I think we should do a
Somebody's
video
like,
like
"Fuck, I never
this.
did that
I
shit."
bet he's.
We
I
should
bet
do a
he's had
video
some.
like this. Just like, ugh.
all hardcore on it.
You know, he got hella chicks from this dude.
Oh, dude,
Dude,
he probably still gets chicks from that.
Right.
If you want to make a music video,
Right?
He's done some cool shit
I
though. He
mean,
did this. I saw him.
As long as
I do
as long
know
as
that.
it looks like Roll Up the Hootie Mac.
do.
I mean,
he did this
I'm good.
patio thing not too long ago. You know, within the
That's why
last.
he's like fixing your patio for you.
No.
No, no,
He
he
did- no,
fixes
You don't
him.
like that, I thought.
Yes,
no.
no, he
Yeah,
has a
like
TV
those
show where he does
Oh
it.
yeah,
Right?
I did see that.
Right?
No.
He fixes
did it-
houses
Yeah.
and he flips them.
Yeah, no, it was
What were you
this. It was
saying?
this show concert thing where he did on this patio.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And it was just like I remember coming across it on YouTube and went, "Oh yeah, that's kind of cool." You know what I mean?
I remember when he
And then,
retired.
yeah, he does
re-
a patio show.
He
It's
retired.
really weird.
He retired. I remember the Vanilla Ice or the Ice Ice Baby on MTV. Did
Yeah.
you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
Or beat the shit out of the master tape
Yeah.
for the video.
Yeah. He definitely he his whole
I think
story
Janine
is-
Garofalo was in it or
his story's
somebody.
interesting.
Oh, shit.
He
Yeah.
scared her because he was all beating the shit out of it with a bat and started messing the setup and he had enough of Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah. He had that moment. Don't
He
call
should've
me
rolled
Vanilla
up the
Ice.
Hootie
He,
Mac,
he
yeah.
definitely had that moment. I heard.
Why
I
were we
heard.
supposed to call him?
I don't know. I don't know what he had. If
Rob Van Winkle.
Well, maybe that's,
That's
he
his
really
real
went
name.
back to his real name. Yeah.
Mr. Van Winkle.
You know,
I just remember that
Or
skit and
Ice.
then Living
look
Color.
at the situation of me as a white boy coming into hip hop. You know, now the Beastie Boys existed. My very first 2 tapes was Run DMC and the Beastie Boys License to Ill.
Vanilla Ice goes Amish.
yeah, I was just
Oh,
laughing
shit.
at
I
that.
want to see that. I'd like
Breaking
to see him
Amish.
Oh shit, he did go Amish. It's like a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh look, he's doing work and painting.
Oh, this is where he fixes houses up and he flips them.
wow.
That's his business, and I guess he does well. And I'm sure he does well off his royalties.
Look at
Dude,
that.
you know how often Ice Ice Baby still gets used? I mean,
That goes all to Bowie, doesn't it?
I don't know these. I don't know
I don't
these
think
days
it does.
though.
No, because
You think
remember
after a certain amount
that-
he actually gets something?
No,
now?
I don't think it does because
He never won that
they-
case.
yeah, I don't think they won it because they did a stupid interview on like
Paul
MTV.
McCartney doesn't own the rights to that.
He's
Doesn't Paul
doing
McCartney
TV
own the
shows
world?
and movies and stuff now.
I thought
Yeah.
it was
he made like $1
a
million
Bowie song.
for doing
I mean,
That's My
Paul
Boy.
McCartney's body double.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing all right, but I don't think they got him.
That's
I don't think they got him for that
you,
sample.
you know what I'm talking
I
about?
do.
I think they did.
Too, bro. I watched all those videos. I
No.
see all that shit. Dog. I'm on
That's
it.
one of my favorite ones.
But
dude.
what's funny is, so they're doing this interview with him.
What's real
and-
anymore? What's real?
They're doing an
anymore?
interview about that sample, and he's like, "No." He's like, "We didn't use that. His goes dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I know.
Mine go, and then he has like some.
try to use that
He
shit
has
in
like an
court.
extra note, and it's like, come on, guy, like,
Yeah.
you sampled it. Just shut up.
Hey, you know, I at one point in my
And
life,
I think he got away with it though.
at one point in my life, I was the whack
What, for
Vanilla
the
Ice.
David Bowie?
Yeah, I don't think he had it clear.
Under Pressure?
Yeah,
Oh.
well, because it was like David Bowie and it was Queen, right? It was Queen.
Yeah.
Under pressure.
Oh yeah, Freddie
Freddie Mercury.
Nope. Nope.
Right?
Yeah, because he was passed on by then.
Yeah, at that point,
Yeah.
passed
Was he?
away. Yeah, he had passed away.
That was like 80.
By the time they passed it, yeah.
80? No, 90s.
When did he pass away? Freddie Mercury?
Well, I know that, like Ice Ice Baby.
I think
remember
it
that
came out
being
after.
89, 90.
I think it
something
came
like
out
When I was
after.
in high school, for sure.
Yeah, it was
that.
90,
Yeah, well, I
91.
remember I came back
90,
from Nebraska in 91.
Okay.
And it was all big in Nebraska and
Okay.
shit. We were driving around this fucking
That makes sense.
Mercury Zephyr. It's fucking
He has a movie coming out about his
shaky
life.
ass car.
Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
when he-
actually looks
91.
pretty good.
Yeah.
91? Oh, okay. So it
Yeah,
was
so he
right when it
Yeah.
came out, he had passed away.
That's what killed him.
That isn't a low blow, though.
No,
The
that's
song
not
is
a
a
low
low
blow
blow.
compared to what really killed him.
Yeah.
So the song's a
Yeah,
low blow.
that
I'm
was
sure
that
he,
was a low blow.
But yeah, I guess I don't know if they cleared it though. So he got away with saying that he had an extra note in there. Or
When
something.
Bowie
shit.
died, and they said he had
Houdini, I'm a hoe.
97 studio albums. David Bowie had
Before he passed
97
away?
studio albums. I just,
Houdini only had one song, and that was "Friends," right? How many of us had them?
I threw
No, yeah, I think they had a couple more hits.
No, they did.
the
I'm
drummer
fucking
from
with
Houdini's from
They
Merced.
definitely probably collect the check still from this one.
you. See, that's when I was into rap and stuff. Was the early Houdini
80s,
and
yeah.
Who did jam on it? Nucleus.
Yeah,
We would
Nucleus.
breakdance to that
That
stuff.
stuff.
Dude.
The only reason I got hip to that was
Dude.
because of my
Dude.
older brother. He took me
Yeah.
to go see Crush Groove and Breakin'.
Oh,
As
hell
a
yeah.
kid,
Breakin', I watched
that's what
Breakin'.
blew my mind.
Beat
I was
Street
like,
was
Beat
the one,
Street.
though.
it was like
Beat Street
$3
the one.
matinees at Merced
Yeah.
Tower Theater, and he was like, "Let's go watch Crush Groove."
Yeah, we used to.
I walked
Nice.
out. I was like,
When
"Oh,
the
shit,
air
I wanna
base-
break dance."
The Castle Air Base, it
We
was
did
like
too, we
$1,
did
dude.
too.
Yeah.
We just
Oh.
watched, Beat Street. I
remember
watched
that
Oh
that
yeah,
shit.
there, huh?
Dude, that's
Yeah,
like
theater
that.
out there,
I
yeah.
That
still,
was the
I
good
still
one.
watch that one. That was
Yeah,
that was like a
Breakin'
authentic
was
one.
the cheesy
cheesy
one.
ball,
Yeah, the Beat
cheese
Street
ball
was
one.
like the gritty urban version.
I just
dude.
watched all three of them,
Yeah.
and you're right.
Beat Street's the
Even though
one,
I
dude.
like Breakin', it's
because
so bad.
it's it deals
in a
with
good
the
way.
real inner city. It follows the tagger
It's realistic.
guy, you
It's
know what I
realistic.
mean? Yeah, I
It was
liked
believable,
Mhm.
but like
Yeah, good
Breakin'
luck
was
trying to find anything
horny.
on Beat Street on YouTube, dude.
you can. You probably find some of the battle scenes.
Yeah,
stuff,
well, yeah.
but you won't find
clips.
like,
You
yeah.
won't find the whole movie
Mm-mm.
because I wanted to show Michael, Mr. Sleeper.
So
It's a good one.
Oh,
I'm getting the feeling like I should probably wrap it up in a little bit so I can head back to the wife and the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Alright.
she's calling me psychically.
Oh, all
But-
right.
but when's James
No,
coming
that's
back?
good. No, we're good.
Man, this has been amazing to be able to sit here with
Right.
Carlos and yourself and everyone
Cool.
and be able to have an open forum to talk about this part of our lives. Our
Yeah,
lives.
no, that's great.
that was
Yeah.
very cool, man.
Mhm.
Very cool forum right here. I
I
really
didn't
liked
bring
it.
up any bullshit politics that everyone's
I
scared
mean,
of.
bring them up.
Oh, we could have got in there all day, but
Nah,
I think we were
yeah.
actually at a better route. We were deeper than that shit.
No, dude.
We were
yeah.
getting to the roots of that by
I
what
think
we were
we
talking
got
about.
some-
Probably.
Beautiful.
Well, I was gonna say we got some real Destructo Bunny, but that's not the name anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Get
You
the
didn't give
break.
it to him.
Yeah,
you gotta
man.
give it
You
to
gotta
me.
get the
That's- we got the
exclusive.
whole. Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
listen to the
right.
whole episode. to
Right,
get it.
that's right.
All right.
Yeah, man. No, Eru gave me this name, Earl Henderson.
Okay.
One of my most old.
Paragon?
Yeah, the
Right.
OG Merced hip hopper.
His brother too.
And Tony, dude. Tony put me on. Tony gave me the first dap where he gave me the dap and Jason Implication, the Godwin Squadron, where they gave me the daps. They're like, yeah, you rap for real. I hear you. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they listened to me and they gave me that respect. And then Earl, I was introduced to Earl. I was like, hey, work with Earl. You know, Tony was moving and he wanted me to work with Earl. And Earl's fire is amazing. He had a vision beyond his years. And I'm still trying to catch up to this guy's vision.
Right.
And he, because of Yoga for Your Ears, he called me Sun Yoga. From
Okay.
sun, like I'm a Leo. I'm ruled by the sun.
Right.
It's the fire, which I'm in the fire yoga, and it's like sun yoga. And I was told by a friend of mine who stayed with me. She's an energetic healer.
Right.
And she stayed with me, and she says, "You need to change your rap name. If you want to get into this new world of music, Destructo Bunny's not going to take you to the next level.
Right.
It did its due. You were a conqueror of darkness for 10 years with that name." And I was like,
Right.
listen to her like open-minded, trying to be open-minded, right? You're
Right,
going to tell me I
right.
should change my rap name. I picked it for kids. I knew why I picked it. So I was like, no, you don't know where I picked this from. It was really pure. It's to help children. I want to like connect to young kids with this name.
Right.
And I was open to it. I said, well, maybe it's my Hug a Puppy house music. Maybe I'm supposed to do house music. I really want to make house music. I love rapping, but hip hop's cool. And what had come to me at that point was I was tired of telling people that the world was fucked up and hip hop had lost a place in me that I did not know how to come at it with my
Right.
new message of I'm not here to kill people.
Right.
I'm not here to hate people. Can we move on from this way of life, people? So I was trying to find my relation to hip hop. And where it was currently in the world was not where I was, and I was out of it. And I was like, in this house music, I mean, to make dance music and pump it, and my energy was go. I was strong. I was feeling it going.
Right.
And through that, hip hop was rediscovered because I got free from the message, and I got to come out and I started making music where I could say whatever I want.
Right.
So Earl and I thought, well, Hug a Puppy would be my name. That Hug a Puppy was my house music name.
Okay,
Hug a
all right.
Puppy, and I made that up because the day Robin Williams died. This awesome dude rolls up in a car. He's got a gangster kind of white cat. He always talks like in a real black Oakland slang. And I wanted to put him on a TV show. This dude was so fucking hilarious. He had a black eye. He had a dog in his car. Every time I see this dude, he has a different car. He's a hustler. He had a different car. Every
Right.
time I saw this dude, every time it was always amazing.
You'd see him more than.
All over Ocean Beach. He's an amazing dude. I love to talk to him because he had the craziest street knowledge, deep insight. And he goes, "What? See my new dog? Black guy." I'm like, "Dog, what happened to you?" He's like, "I got a new dog." I took the dog, and I turned around, I go, "Who wants to be in my new group? Hug a Puppy." And then we found out Robin Williams died, and I posted this picture, and it was just a weird day, and it was just a
Right.
weird day overall. I picked that name to kind of go for my house music, Destructo Bunny Rap, Hug a Puppy House, and it was dope. And I thought, oh, there's my new name. It's my positive lightning, like
Right.
she said. And then as it went on, the hip hop was coming back strong, and it is. I haven't made a house beat in a year now, probably, because
Okay.
my hip hop is just deep into where I see the message again. I see why I started rapping. And that's what I really felt again here, where I'm really trying to. This is why I look the way I look, why I feel the way I feel, because I'm trying to be who I was when I started. Why did I do this? Why does it mean something? You know, to my daughter, why am I having a job, making money, spending more money for my family?
Right.
What's my destiny? What are we doing here? You know, that kind of question. And then it came to me just the other night. I was sitting there and I've been thinking, Miles Frody and I have a new project we're working on called The Roomy Depth.
Okay.
The Roomy Depth. And it's a 2-man project where I said, I have this other name that, let's pick different names and play with it. And I picked the name Sun Yoga. Because Earl called me Sun Yoga. And he picked the name Win Lung. He goes by Wordzilla regularly.
Okay.
So he goes by Win Lung because that was given to him by his brother.
Okay.
And he really was a special name that he's never used yet.
Wow.
He goes, what is this, Win Lung? He goes, oh, that's later.
Mm.
So that, and man, I'm getting, whoa. That's crazy. That's some deep shit, man.
Yeah. No.
This is real shit. That's why I felt like I had a rebirth the other night on the 21st, John Korea's birthday. My arch enemy in Merced at one point, my closest brother, and Loch Ness's kid's born on the 21st too. And I did mushrooms on the 20th, just a small amount.
Oh man,
small amount.
Right.
Because I'm not. I was doing mushrooms 5 times a day for a year. 5 times a week, a month. I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm tripping.
day? I was gonna say,
bro. I wish. I love
5 times a day.
I need little mushrooms all
time
day.
to like,
you're going hard in the game, bro.
Man. It was trippy shit. But I put them by my Shiva, and I was sitting there and like charged these up. Got my new yoga books I'm reading. I want to go lay in the mountains of Oregon. Had a great experience. It really, I felt I was being reborn again. I know this is real.
Right.
It's real. I'm gonna do this. That's what we do. So that's Sun Yoga. It's like,
yeah. So SUN.
SUN.
Nice.
Fire of the blue flame, the hottest fire. It's the blue flame. It's the first flame because I've always repped it. For me, blue. I had a mushroom experience where I'm sitting there painting in the morning when I was living with Eddie Garcia. I'm trying to spray paint, be a tag. I'm gonna be a graffiti artist, and Eddie told me, "Yo, tagging won't make you cool, bro." And that's it. This is my graffiti career. And then I see this lady just all frozen, and I'm like, "Is that lady frozen for real? Was she staring at me?" And I'm spray painting. And I look over and I go, She started moving as soon as I looked at her, and I go, she goes, "What color are you?" I go, "Blue." She goes, "I'm red." And it was this weird connection, and I didn't know why I said blue, but I always wore blue a lot, and it always connected with me. But
she answered red?
She said red, just like that, man.
Go like,
and I just thought it was weird balances. Fire and red and blue make purple, and that's the highest fire in the meditation traditions.
She's quick on her toes.
It is the purple star that you will see through meditation. That is the highest love of fire.
That's what they read your aura and shit. You know what I mean?
She
said I'm purple.
It's the
Okay.
purple that we're evolving to as we mix the fires, right? But I knew I rep the fire of the blue flame,
Right,
Sun
right.
Yoga, and then I realized this is it. This is where I want to go with it. This is my future in my 40s with my child now. Destructo Bunny served me. This is the name that amplifies light in this new project called the Roomy Depth.
That's a good fucking
right.
name,
You know what I
dude.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's all happening since met my wife. I had the child. I moved to Oregon. Life took me there.
I didn't know you had a kid, but
I have a
congratulations.
2-year-old daughter. Yeah,
Congratulations.
Jean Rose Deans.
Right.
Yeah.
What's her name? You don't want to share it or what?
No, I can't, man.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Juniper Jean Rose Deans.
All right. Yeah, after your mom. Nice, dude.
Yeah, my grandma Rose.
Yeah.
JJ Rose.
Right. Nice.
Give her a name,
That's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Best thing ever, man.
Right.
Again, purpose. Why am I not working more? Why am I not? What do I have to do for her?
Oh yeah.
What is it really? Tell me, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, can I still do music? Should I just? I told Kara at one point, I don't give a fuck about music. I can't give a fuck if I ever write a fucking song again. I freestyle every day. Who wants to rap? I do this. We do this. Fuck music. But I love music. But it wasn't like that. It's life. It's life and death. It's like, it's more important just to be real and alive, And I love music, and I'll do music forever because it's my art. And I realize it's my gift to give.
It's part of what makes you whole. That's
Yeah.
part of why I do this, and I have kids and stuff because
yeah.
I need to be involved in this scene, even if I'm not necessarily playing in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, bro, what you're doing
Like-
now for me right now?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
For all of us.
right.
Bro, you're doing it.
But I mean, I need that to be my full person,
Yeah.
and then that
you can't get rid of
on my
the connection we have with music is just that. Like I've gone full mode. Like I've done it before in my past, where I go full work mode and try to just 100% just work. And music is very like last on my list, and I become a miserable individual.
That's right.
Personally,
right.
I'm doing well financially.
Right.
I'm providing. I'm doing all these things that I'm supposed to be doing.
Right. But you ain't
But
doing what you're
personally,
supposed to be
I
doing.
am miserable.
Right.
And I can
well, see,
never-
this
you know what I mean?
this right
Yeah.
here is my priority. Well,
Yeah.
aside from my family and my kids, you know what I mean. This is my priority, my hobby, my passion.
Yeah.
And
And you're always supposed to have
my
that.
extra work goes into this. You know what I mean? I put my own money into this, and
I mean, likewise, I do
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah,
I invest
exactly.
into these
Because
things.
you love
if I were to
it,
explain
yeah.
that to my parents till to this
The
day, they'd be
time.
like,
right.
"Why?"
Some
Fuck the
dudes are
money.
building
Fuck the
cars
money. The
and
time
doing,
you put into
know,
this.
Exactly. For me,
going hunting, or archery or whatever the fuck somebody
yeah.
wants
Yeah.
to get into. It
I mean,
just
it's
happens.
art. It's
Yeah.
art. It's a form of art, and creative people, and you can't get rid of that.
No.
I was in Ocean Beach when I first moved down there, maybe a couple years there, and I was making a little name for myself. I'd done the Eli show, and people got to know me, and I was getting good vibes. And OB, like I was doing something, people were really vibing with me. And I got a point where like a cat came up to me, a couple people saw me, like, "Oh, how do you do what you do and stuff?" And this cat who was working said, "Hey, can I answer that?" And I was like, "Sure." And he goes, "Time put in, because
Right.
you put the time in to be able to do it."
Right.
A good surfer is a good surfer because they've surfed 10,000 waves.
Right.
You know, you put the time in. And I
Right.
said, man, great fucking answer, bro. I
I mean, it
never-
really is.
And that's what I'm saying with everything we're doing here, you know what I mean? And
Right.
everything that's brought it to. Like I said, I needed tonight. I needed to come here and rap like this. I needed to know, after last night's show, after how that show went down with every aspect of the show, of throwing a show and being a promoter and playing the show, that show was amazing. The memories, that's it. That was where I needed to talk to AC Alone in the back.
Right.
I asked him, "Do you know who you are?" "I don't know what you know." I literally went, "I don't know
Right.
what you know. Do you
Right.
know who you are?
Yeah.
Do you know that you're a truth guru and that you're a Sat guru? They would call you that in Hindu, that you're here to enlighten humanity, and that's why you've rapped and you let me think because your thinking made me think, and now I do it too. That's what you do."
You threw that at him,
Bro,
dude?
he
Oh,
literally,
fuck.
after he asked me how long I've been fucking with you, and,
Right.
and he went like this. I
Yeah.
said, "You are my guru. If there was a guru game, it would be those who I listened to would put me up. Gifted Gab would be in that range too.
Yeah.
But for me, AC is that dude. For some reason, I knew it one day. I said, AC is my guru. He's my literal guru in life. If I
Right.
had a guru who didn't know it, who was sending me cosmic waves saying that, it would be AC Alone. And
Yeah.
I'm honored to say that. Project
Well,
Blow
he
LA.
killed it for sure last
He
night,
is
dude.
that
you know?
dude. And he said in his new album, 43rd and great. 33rd and great. I wish I knew it because it inspired me. This whole thing, that show came from that album. I was I started b-boying a little bit in my kitchen, dancing again like I used to do in Merced when I was young and healthy. And I wanted to dance again. I want to fucking dance when I rap again. I want to fucking
Right.
move. I want to have to show that extra level of energy that hip hop really does. When
yeah.
a great MC like a Pharoah Monch grabs the stage and he can go 100 miles per hour. When a Redman, when I was at fucking Rock the Bells and Redman's up there smoking it, and I need to quit smoking weed so I can rap faster, so I can be a better rapper. And Redman's up there smoking 20 blunts, rapping 100 miles per hour,
Right.
dancing, running, and I'm like, it ain't the weed, homie.
Right.
It's knowing what they know in their spirit from rapping at the level they've been rapping because it lit the fire of their lungs and they can walk on
I mean,
water.
I think as
If that makes
as
And he
a-
rode that. He
No,
rode
you're
it that 10,000 waves.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, and the thing with
30,000.
the thing with that, I think. Also,
What wave are you on?
Right.
I mean, I think it has to do with.
It was spirit to me. I saw spirit, and
It
I realized
is.
I had to put my spirit forth. And so coming here tonight with you two, man, your cuts tonight, what I was trying to get across lyrically, you do it with the freestyle because you're freestyling. So that is the now. It is the fire of the now. Because I made my first thing of making beats was to scratch. Now, I rapped already,
Right.
but really making beats was to cut to. Because I would make a new beat, would be dope, and I'd get on the turntable and cut. And then, of
Yeah.
course, I would rap on it because this is the only beat I had because I'd go to a show and I needed to play. Well, here's my new beat, and I love the
Right.
beat to cut to. I'll rap
Yeah.
on it too. But it was always the cut. It was always the scratch to the new beat I made. So
Right.
hearing the message in that cut, it's telling you the story. Fuck the words. You hear that shit?
Yeah.
And hearing that balanced with the lyric when it happens, when the DJ and the MC gets together and the B-boy is activated and the artist is spraying the message, the elements of and the knowledge is presented, the hip hop and is in the room. And I said to him last night, I said hip hop is the religion of our time, and a lot of people don't realize. And AC Lone was like, I said, we know what time it is. We are in the epoch of fire. We are the ones to come and bring the fire back. We are here. What's up? We don't live like that. That's
Right.
not the way it succeeds. If you live like that, death happens.
Right.
We were here to live on another level the Sun Yoga movement of like, that's what we're doing.
Right.
That's that movement of, nah, we don't. This is what you told me in the car one night from a party. This will be my last thing I'm going to say because I know my wife's
All right,
calling me.
right.
Check this out.
I know, I was
We were
like-
driving home from Arizona. I
Right.
mean, look what happened after I said I need to go. I started
Right.
fucking
I
crying.
know.
I mean, look
like-
at isn't that funny? It
Yeah.
all came to the surface quick. Oh, you need to say
know.
some other shit, motherfucker.
Right.
Driving from a party, you're drunk
Yeah.
off your ass.
Okay.
We're at this party
in Arizona.
In Arizona, I'm driving, so I'm
I
not
was
drinking.
drunk?
You're drunk. You're drunk. It was beautiful because you
When-
were
when-
so
when-
honest.
when
It was an
now?
early party. We were there. It was early. We went to a hip hop party. You might have been there before me, and then I came to the party and sat down with you. But it was a party, and there were people rapping, and I was chilling, and you were like, you were drinking, and you were sitting there like, show them how to do it. Because the kid was rapping, and you were like, no. Show them how to do it, James. Rap. Spit. You literally said that to me in front of this whole crowd. Like, show him how to rap because this kid
I
thought he
mean,
could rap.
yeah.
But it was, you believed in me because you knew why I rapped. Because we came from the same place.
I mean, to simplify and put it in our terms, game recognized game.
100%.
Yeah.
But at that moment,
You know
I
what I
didn't
mean?
believe in myself that way.
Right.
And then on the way home, you said, you need to let them know why you do this and why they can't do this. And I'm not a battle rapper, though. So he
Right.
gave me, tell them why they can't do this. I'm like, well, to me, that sounds like a battle. The new thing I'm reading is, get ready for battle. It's
Right.
battle time. You've been practicing. It's battle. Do not be afraid of battle. It is
Right.
battle time. It is time to bring in what you know to the table. Go with love. No more fear, all love. Love is invulnerable. If you run with it, we protect you. It's love, fire. Here we come. That vibe that I'm getting from this new information I'm reading, this new life I'm living in Oregon, that like
Right.
the Donald Trump era, right? Like,
Oh, Jesus,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
The
it's about-
epoch of
it's-
fire. Who
Right.
wants it?
The
Right.
path of the
Right.
path of a creative person is the
Fiery,
ability to battle
creative,
through
boom.
being able to pursue what it is that you feel is who you are, that doesn't fit in the constraints of what reality says is right. You know what I mean?
And that's my
As it-
rebellion as a kid to
You
be
know
a
what I
white rapper. I didn't mean to be a white rapper. I want to be a rapper, and fuck, I'm white.
Right.
And then that's why.
I mean, I'm
but-
a Mexican
but
immigrant.
I was
you know
Vanilla
what I mean?
Ice.
I don't fit into the mold of
I was Vanilla Ice because
Yeah,
I
what I'm
fucking
supposed
listened
to
to
be.
Vanilla Ice, but I was a whack
Right.
Vanilla Ice, and then I was a wannabe Eminem. Pimps in the Galaxy, we got some good.
Well, you can't help it being a white rapper, dude.
I
you
mean-
know
Hey,
what
but
I
I'm
mean?
okay because I knew who I was. I rapped way before I knew those people were. Maybe not
Right.
Vanilla Ice, but I knew before I ever knew Eminem was. I was already rapping.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
right.
somebody called me that in a rap one time, and I said, "Bro, I've been rapping. I've been walking way more than 8,000 miles. I've been freestyling. Okay, man.
Right.
I do this, and because all my life
Oh
I
yeah,
walked to
dude,
Mercedes
the
freestyles.
awful freestyle jams we had up at Eddie's house where we just jam and
Hours into the night.
yeah, people would just grab instruments and
So for hip hop, for the hip hop that saved my life,
Yeah.
I say,
Mhm.
blessed be the day, I grabbed this mic. What is my fucking chorus? I can't even remember it. This hip hop shit saved my
my
life.
life. Yeah.
Blessed
A
be
lot
the
of
day I
us.
first grabbed my mic. It brought purpose to the surface of my mind.
Right.
It brought purpose. I don't know what the purpose was, but
Yeah.
purpose, just the word. What does that mean to me?
That's a good song
To
too.
my
yeah.
mind. It the sound of the flight when we shape light, because isn't that what we're doing in reality? Is shaping light crystals and particles of reality.
Sure.
The sound of the flight. So this music is the sound of what it sounds like when you are shaping reality and light at every moment. That's what I'm bringing with that message, that new Atlantis Rising, which, it'll be finished under Destructo Bunny as it shall,
right.
those songs. But Sun Yoga's coming on different albums. The Rumi Depth will be the introduction, and then I'll just gradually phase it as which it does. And I have finally accepted it. I was
Right.
like, no, how am I going to do that? I'm like, you know what? Prince fucking changed his name to a symbol, and that dude is
Right.
one of the best
I was just
motherfuckers
thinking
ever.
about if
Everybody still calls him
I should
Prince.
title the
I
podcast
bow humbly to Prince and
the
his-
artist
his
formerly
genius.
known as Destructo Bunny.
Boom. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's not for the. I don't care if anybody cares if I change my name. I changed it for. You see what it is.
No, I
No,
yeah, I was
I
just
You
mean-
just got what it was.
I was explaining
Cool
why I
Keith-
used
Cool-
Blackheart before
Cool
we,
Keith
you know
has
what I mean?
tons-
Because you get to
tons of
break
names.
those boundaries.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And create new ones.
Bow to Cool Keith. These symbol
Yeah.
makers. These
Yeah.
people who broke reality.
Black Elvis.
Yeah,
Glad I
my
got to see a
favorite
preview
album.
of that.
Black Elvis, my favorite Cool Keith album. I love Dr. Octagon, but
Dr.
Black
Octagon.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Dr.
Woo!
Doom. Or
all those are
the
dope, but Black
ones.
Elvis for me has a special place. To me, he'd done it so many times. He did it again. This motherfucker did it again. He made up a name called Black Elvis. He has a whole concept. And he sold it again. How many times can he do this? It just blew my mind in the way that I sold into another level. I said, this dude.
He's just a creative person moving
Boom.
creatively.
Yeah.
That's really what
creative
it is.
fires. Keep it
He don't.
moving.
He don't fight
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What do you think the new This Is America?
Fucking love it.
Right? That video is
To me,
fucking,
for me, it is underground hip hop's message with a $bazillion budget. He did it. He made fun of him. I loved his spirit. I'm like, I wanted to be him. I am that. That's my fire. That's my wake up
Donald
every
Glover,
motherfucker.
Childish
my
Gambino.
gosh.
That guy is talented.
I
He can
loved him on
sing.
Community,
He can
dude.
act. He can rap.
I
He's
never listened to
comedic.
one
Yeah,
of his
Troy
songs.
and
Man,
Ahmed,
that dude is
I
like.
never listened to one of his songs. I never watched one of his comedies.
Listen to his R&B
Really?
album.
I banned him from my
That
reality.
shit's amazing.
Oh man, no, I like the dude.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's not. It was created. I didn't want to. He's too good. I didn't want to be influenced in a certain way. I had to find my way. To me, he was me. He was already doing this in a way.
Right.
I couldn't watch him. It's like, whoa, I don't want to even know you're
And then
good.
he's
I don't want to know
Calrissian.
you're a comedian and you could rap better than me.
Right.
I'll give it to Weird Al Yankovic, but you kid, you're better than me already, and how can you be so good? How can you be?
Right.
And then that video, I'm like, God, I fucking love you. You're the best human on the planet right now for
Right.
doing that for us.
Right.
Thank you so much for putting a target on your fucking soul and going, hello, I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet today. I say love is real. I'm gonna do me. Oh my God, thank you. I don't know if it's just from him, whoever came with that concept.
Right.
Thank you for
I'm pretty sure
portraying
that dude is on one.
Oh, bro, he's
Oh,
wearing
dude,
the,
yeah.
he's
Like,
He's
there's
like-
an interview where they're just like, "Would you explain this video?" And he's like, "No,
no.
no."
Why would he?
Yeah, he's
I mean,
exactly.
it's-
But the
Why
dude
would-
is like an
That's exactly what-
exceptional singer, an exceptional like rapper,
He grabbed my heart and
actor,
soul with that.
comedian.
He grabbed it. He
I
grabbed it.
mean,
He says, "It's not my job to interpret it. It's just."
Right.
I was just
I
like,
mean,
nice.
sometimes art isn't meant to be appreciated.
I
Right.
love the
Not
fun
understood.
Of the new trap spirit. I feel like it's the stupid fresh. I'm a lyricist, underground hip hopper through and through. But when
Right.
they asked me about the trap shit, I said that shit's fun as fuck if you get into the world. Now it might
Right.
dumb down all this stuff, but it's
Right.
fun. They're coming from a different angle. They're not even caring about the lyrics because it's just got to be fun anymore. It was like a kid thing to me. I thought it was
Right.
a kid thing.
Right.
Seeing how he played it with
Right.
like, I'm so cute, I'm so pretty.
Right.
I'm so fitted.
Well,
And
he's,
Right.
he's
but
being very
playing it.
sarcastic
Yes.
about
That's
what's going
why
on.
I call it the underground message done in $1 million
Well, see,
budget.
that's the thing is that you got to break those boundaries
Oh, I
and just
know.
you don't need to stay over here in this pocket. You can just drift over here for
I
a little
mean,
bit and drift right back on
Karis,
in.
Karis once said it best to me. You can't change the system from the outside looking in. Sometimes you got to be inside the system in order to change it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't criticize something if you don't know how it works.
We booked Karis one. He said love 60 times within an hour and 45 minutes. I never heard a person in my life command love the way he did, in the way he did it. I'm like, this dude is like a shaman now. He's not even rapping in the same way anymore. He understands his role, and he's teaching these white kids. He's teaching everybody.
Right.
Who cares who you are? He's going, shh, bless you, bless you. You need the truth. You need the truth. This shit's real. I'm Karis one. You can say whatever you want to do. Krishna one. I heard put one time. Krishna. I wonder. They wonder if he knows that KRS one,
Right.
Krishna one. They were like playing with that game that he's dropping mad science as
Right.
he has been. He had a freestyle line. He goes, "When I shine so bright, when I come around, none of the stars come out." None of the famous people show up to his shows to get on the
man.
mic around him. 'Cause
Oh, right.
As Method Man or Common said in that documentary, I've seen KRS One in people's careers. Like you can't do it. What he knows, what he's been through.
Right.
He's here to give. Stop trying to take from the man. You know what I mean? In a sense, like but. Thank you, Mark, for this.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for coming,
everybody's
dude.
been a
Great
part.
Hey,
set.
James, I've been looking forward to seeing you for a long time.
Thank you. Thank you for making this happen, my
Yeah,
man.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So
Thanks,
glad.
thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for holding space and chilling with us.
Cool.
And thank you.
All right, man.
Blessings.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cut that off and
Woo!
roll out.
Wow. Well, I didn't know I needed that therapy session.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Oh, that was
You don't know what
beautiful.
you need.
That's what I'm saying. I thought I had to go home. Right?